It's not bad news that Hykeem Williams is entering the transfer portal.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Seminoles. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football writer and recruiting analyst. Thank you for making Locked On Seminoles your first listen each and every day. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Hykeem Williams intends to enter the transfer portal per numerous reports across the college football landscape, including all of those folks in the greater Tallahassee area covering the Noles on a daily basis. So he's gone. And before you start gnashing your teeth and before you start worrying, that's okay. When you redeem a program, and that's pretty much what Florida State's looking for, redemption here, there's going to be defections. Sometimes you got to go back before you go forward. I'm okay with this. There have been rumblings, and I'd hinted at this not that long ago here on Locked On Seminoles, that they might lose some players. There's a couple other guys who are going to leave too, just so you know. You may not like it, but it's probably going to work out in their favor long term. This year, maybe, maybe not, but we'll get into that. But note, the objective for Florida State is to compete for national championships and win national championships. It is not to be 8-4 to 10-2. It's not. Florida State needs players that are committed to the program, and they need players that understand their role within the current structure, within what the coaches want. And that also includes the strength coaches all off season. Like, it has to be all in all the time. For whatever reason, Hykeem Williams has decided to leave. I don't know what it is. I haven't made a phone call about it, and I really don't care. I don't. If he doesn't want to be at Florida State, by all means. I don't know him on a personal level. I've been around him, but I don't know him. It's fine. Florida State has some younger players that I'll discuss in a couple of moments, but the key here is to set a precedent, especially if this was an NIL deal. And again, I don't know the reasoning for Hykeem Williams leaving Florida State and hitting the transfer portal. They got themselves in a really bad spot in 2024 by giving in on the NIL front. Screwed up the locker room. Guys got complacent. How did that go for Florida State? So if that's what it is, by all means, nah. There's the door. We'll go with what we got. As a proving ground for how important that is, look at Pittsburgh. They don't have anywhere near the same talent that Florida State does. They got rid of guys like that last year, and they had a much better season than Florida State. See ya. You have to be loyal to the program first. Look at the long-term development and then go with it. If you don't like the direction, by all means, enter the transfer portal. That's what it's for. That is the absolute reason. So again, if you're gnashing your teeth over it, I get it because he's a highly talented guy, but Florida State will be just fine. And long-term, this is going to be good. Allow me, just for the sake of record, to provide you with the statistics last year for Hykeem, all courtesy of Pro Football Focus. Last season, 2024, he started 8 of 9 games that he played, and he was banged up a little bit. 297 snaps, 16 catches, 181 yards, 11.3, and a score. Here are his grades per Pro Football Focus: 58.3 for offense, 58.1 for receiving, 70.9 for drops. He had one allegedly per Pro Football Focus. He had a fumble, and his fumbling grade was 24.1. I'm guessing they didn't like his ball security, even though he only lost a fumble. The biggest stat for me, though, and this should not be the case because he is a freakazoid. I've seen him up close. That is not a normal human being, the way Hykeem Williams can run. He was thrown 5 passes that the ball traveled 20 or more yards from the line of scrimmage. Out of those 5 passes, how many yards do you think Hykeem Williams had? Just before I announce, go ahead and take a guess. Now, I know Florida State's O-line sucked, and the passing game was abysmal. 0 catches. One of the reasons he's at 0 because he didn't get it. Something wasn't there. Part of that's on Florida State, too. This is not all a Hykeem deal. I don't think the coaching last year, I think we can all agree, was where it needed to be Florida State level. That's understatement of the millennium. But he did not catch a pass with his physical gifts over 20 yards. That is amazing. When I saw that stat, I about fell out of my chair. That's a problem. But what's ironic, the intermediate throws, which oftentimes are more difficult, honestly, because there's more people around, 14 passes were thrown his way. Again, same O-line, same quarterback situation. He caught 8 of them. Those over-the-middle passes, slants, those plays that you're about to get hit, even those short little slants that you get popped, well, these are even further down the field. You're between the linebacker and safety, 10 to 15 yards, sometimes up to 20 yards. He caught 8 out of 14. I don't get it. But 147 yards, 18.4, and a score. Like, he was good. I don't know. The overwhelming factor here is still the same. He didn't even touch his potential. Wish Hykeem Williams the best. He did nothing to me or anybody that I know at Florida State. Again, I didn't even make a call on this. I don't want to know. It's about moving forward with the Florida State football program for me. If he doesn't want to be at Florida State, that's his decision. But Florida State has some other guys here that have a chance now. I'm going to go over my 2 key receivers from this point through the end of fall camp. In addition to the guy, like Squirrel White's going to start, Deuce Robinson. Those 2 are out of the mix. Those 2 are the obvious. But I have 2 guys that I'm going to talk about. And then I'm also going to talk about 3 factors why this isn't going to impact Florida State. Like many of you who are freaking out and shouldn't be, should know. That is next here on Locked On Seminoles. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility, connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Finding the right talent is everything for any growing business, small or large. If you need something for a marketing campaign or if it's something else, whatever it may be, Upwork can help you connect with freelance experts delivering incredible results. It's also fast and easy to use the app and to get everything loaded. It's free and simple too. Within a day, you're going to have multiple qualified candidates to choose from. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Number 1 player for Florida State to get better now that Hykeem Williams is in the transfer portal, Elijah Moore. The sophomore out of the greater Washington, D.C. area was highly coveted. He's a guy that's made some moves in practices, but he still has to take further steps. Coach Norvell and other people around the program have noted as much publicly, privately. Okay, so what are we working with here? I don't care if he caught a few passes last year, whatever. They were minimal. I'm not worried about stats. I'm just going to go by what I saw with my own eye test and what I've heard. 6'4", roughly 205 last year. I'm guessing he's 210, 215 by the season if he's not there already. So he's basically the same size as Hykeem, but might be slightly taller. Hykeem's 6'2", 6'2 and a half. He's got 3 years of eligibility, and he's a guy that's looking at this like, man, the gate's open. Squirrel White, he's without a doubt, your number 1 slot. Okay. Deuce Robinson can play boundary, but he could play the other. Whichever spot he's not playing, that's where I got to be. And Florida State may adjust this a little bit because Deuce could probably move around. They could even play him at the slot. But wherever they need Elijah, he could play flanker and he could play boundary. They could have some fun with not 1, but 2 big-bodied receivers, again, that want to be at Florida State, throwing the deep ball, and Thomas Castellanos has a cannon. I think that's pretty fun to think about. 6'4" and over 200 pounds, and he can run. This is a guy that has a chance to make a major mark this next year at Florida State. And again, 3 years of eligibility left. Second guy, and this is just, again, my eye test and knowing him through the high school ranks. He broke records in Florida as a receiver, which kind of says a lot. And he played at Cocoa. Javon Boggs, the freshman, came in, made some noise this spring. He was one of the guys that some of the players talked about. There was a lot of chatter about him. Well, I can tell you firsthand from seeing him play live, his hands are ridiculous. He's been given a gift by God, and he utilizes it. He made a one-handed catch at the Under Armour camp just over a year ago that I was like, holy crap. Just insane. It was on a deep ball, turning, twirling, catching it. It should not happen. The ball went 40, 50 yards in the air. It's moving. And he snagged it with one hand. That's not normal. And he's a guy that's a route runner. He absolutely, unequivocally torched St. Thomas Aquinas' secondary, not this past season, but the year before. Everybody knew who the ball was going to. He had like 200 yards, give or take, by himself. Yeah. Needless to say, he has a lot of talent. And with his advanced route running and his big body, Javon's about 6 foot, 6'1", give or take 200 pounds coming out of high school. Again, he's at Cocoa, one of the best high school programs, not only in Florida, but in the country. This is a guy that has the ability to make an impact. And the door is wide open. They're going to need him to step up even more. But because of his advanced ability, I think he's a guy that will. Now, BJ Gibson and anybody else, Fryer, all these other guys coming up, they all have a shot. But I like the acumen that he has as a player, again, that can move around. I'm pretty sure that Elijah Moore will do that too. Gibson might a little bit. But however they line up, you got some really talented guys, and I'm going with Moore and Boggs. We'll see if I'm right. Finally, 3 factors on why losing Hykeem is not as big a deal as you might think. This year, you're going to have a lot better quarterback play. I mean, I think we're all in favor of that. Florida State fans, yeah, there's just nothing to say about 2024. It's time to move on. Thomas Castellanos may be more of a runner in general, but that's going to open up deep shots. Again, you got Deuce, you got Elijah, you got BJ, you got Javen. Squirrel White's going to be your screen and underneath guy. Don't forget about some of those running backs they can catch. They've got a lot of guys, actually, out of the backfield, too. They're going to be versatile. And, oh, by the way, the tight end room is really good. I don't want to name just one guy. Landon Thomas gets the most attention, but they got some good players. Passing game is going to be a lot better. Secondarily, I kind of touched on it a little bit with Castellanos. He can run, but you've got 4 transfer linemen, and you've got a really good running back room. It's going to be better under Gus. He's proven that. Herb Hand's a really good O-line coach. That will open up the passing game. And then finally, just overall, this team is going to be so much better coached than it was last year. Those who buy into being at Florida State will shine. It's that simple. This year, to me, is the first of several steps. It's going to take a few years. I know if FSU fans don't want to hear this. They're not going to sniff 10 wins this year. I'll be shocked. But if they do, it'll be because of the combination of coaching, talent, and everybody buying in. If you don't want to be in Tallahassee, hit the road. I wish Hykeem Williams all the best, but you should not be upset over him leaving. I know he's a very talented young man, and again, I wish him the best, but it is probably better for all parties. If you're not 100% bought in to a given program, FSU or otherwise, it's best for you to move on. The Florida State Seminoles will be just fine, and they've got plenty of talent coming up the ranks to replace them. Thank you once again for making Locked On Seminoles your first listen each and every day. Truly appreciate you stopping in to get all your latest Noles football information. We're going to have a regular podcast, quote unquote regular, for 3 segments later tonight. But I wanted to talk about this because of the extraordinary nature of this kind of just popping up. I didn't know Hykeem was going to hit the portal, but there have been rumblings. If there's anybody else, I might do another podcast later today. Who knows? But after 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern time, I'll have one. I try to wait throughout the day to see who gets in the portal for this reason. Before I do podcasts right now, we'll have something else. I'll talk about Florida State's entries into the portal, some possibilities of guys they might go after, and a few other thoughts towards the end of spring. That'll be later tonight here on Locked On Seminoles.